Hi guys, my name is Shiels down here at Trafford Golf Centre in Manchester, and today we're going to talk about how to hit a hybrid. I've just done a review on the TaylorMade SLDR S hybrid, so you can check out my channel, but thought now just a good time to talk about actually how to hit a hybrid or a rescue golf club. These golf clubs are fantastic if you struggle with long irons. So if you're a golfer who, you know, your 4-iron is the cleanest club in your bag and your 3-iron's under your bed, kind of ready to protect you from burglars, it's worth looking at getting a hybrid because these clubs are so easy to hit. The performance are normally generally pretty good as well. They produce really high ball flights because their centre of gravity is kind of much further to the back. It's so much easier to hit, it really is. But it's how to hit them is the important bit. There's always been this kind of discussion about how do we hit it more like an iron or can it be hit more like a wood? Okay, and that discussion is still ongoing, and I would say, this is quite an indifferent question, I'd say different people suit hitting it in different ways. I wouldn't say there's one absolute correct answer to that question. I would say some golfers prefer to hit it like they're hitting a 3-wood. So they're almost sweeping it off the surface, they're not taking a great deal of contact. That's the way I would normally hit it. So I would generally have, for hitting it more like a fairway would, the ball position just to the left of my sternum, so just in the inside of my left foot, but more just to the left of my sternum. I would keep my sternum just slightly behind the golf ball then, from behind, and I would look at trying to keep that relationship between the middle of my body is just behind the golf ball. So I would be aiming to the middle of the body, just to be behind the golf ball, even during the golf swing. So I'm not going to be moving too far to the right, I'm not going to be moving too far to the left. I'm staying central, but the middle of my body is actually placed just behind the golf ball. That's going to produce a slight upward hit on the golf ball. So that's going to be perfect for hitting a hybrid. So it'll elevate the golf ball and hit that really nice height. So ball's just in front of my sternum, but my sternum's just behind the head, and I'm going to try and keep it there. That way when I hit, it's going to sweep off the surface, and it's going to hit a nice golf shot that's going to produce lots and lots of heights. Lots of height. The other way of playing it, certainly one if it's quite a lofted hybrid, is to play it more like a 3-iron or a 4-iron. Now this way, I would now change my setup ever so slightly. I don't personally hit it this way, but I know it can be very successful hitting it this way. Generally, if there's enough loft on the golf club, a slightly downward hit can produce a fantastic golf shot. And this is why when you're hitting a 7-iron or an 8-iron or a 9-iron, a downward hit is encouraged because there's lots of loft and it'll get the ball up in the air. This time, I'm going to set up still with the ball in relation to my feet slightly forward, but I'm going to keep my sternum more over the top of the golf ball this time. So now I'm not behind it, I'm more on the top. Now this is going to produce a slightly more downward hit, and I don't mind seeing a bit of a divot being taken with a hybrid. A very small, shallow divot often produces really nice golf shots. Certainly if you're a golfer who struggles hitting a 3-wood anyway, this method might suit you better. So you're hitting it more like a 5-iron or a 6-iron rather than hitting it like a 3-wood. So keep your sternum a bit more over the top of the golf ball this time. Swing and actually hold it in that position. But because the ball's position's far enough forward in relation to your feet, you're not going to hit down massively, you're going to hit down a tiny bit. So this time sternum is more over the top of the golf ball. I'm going to keep it there, and this is probably going to produce a slightly more downward hit, and I would expect off the grass a very small divot. Now that time I felt the bottom of the golf club actually touching the ground more, and it still produced a fantastic shot. I would say it came out a fraction lower, but the connection was still pretty awesome. So there's two different styles to hit a golf shot, to hit a hybrid there. I want to kind of evaluate your game. If you're a golfer who can hit a 3-wood fairly well, so you're confident with fairway wood, certainly off the floor, use the first method that I talked about. Ball slightly forward, sternum slightly back, and sweep the golf ball. If you're a golfer who, let's say, struggles with a 3-wood, but prefers hitting a 6-iron and a 7-iron, play your hybrid more in that way. So that time the sternum is more over the top of the golf ball, you're going to keep it there during the golf swing, and attack it with a slightly downward hit, and that's also still going to produce a very good golf shot. The only time that style might not work brilliantly is when the loft gets really reduced. So if you've got like a 14 or a 15 degree hybrid, that style of golf shot might not work perfectly. But what I want to tell you guys, there's no right way to hit a hybrid. I would say there's 2 different ways to hit a hybrid. If you try one, give one a go first for a long period of time. You know, give it a little bit of a go first. Don't just hit one shot and say, that didn't work, I'm going to try the other method. Give one a go first and see how it gets on. If you weren't quite as successful with that method, you might have evaluated your golf swing potentially wrong. Try the other method and see if that works for you a little bit better. But that was a bit of an insight of how to hit a hybrid club or a rescue golf club. And you can check out my review of the SLDR S Hybrid on my channel. That's up available now. It's a pretty powerful golf club and one that should be hit quite often as well.